Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the St. James Project podcast with me, your host, Imani St. James. And today is May 25th. Whew, yes, the start of the Memorial Day weekend. Now, if you're like me, I've had my plans interrupted and I didn't get to make my annual trip down to LA, and I'm a little bummed out about that. I started a new job. In addition to my other many talents, I am now a live TV specialist. Yes, this is getting better and better and better. And it's playing right into what I'm doing right here with my podcast. Okay, so remember, if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook. Just put in the hashtag, the St. James Project. And I'm still considering that Instagram thing. I'm only one person here. I have a part-time assistant. I got friends helping me. And now I'm working a full-time job. And I'm on my hustle with the investments and the insurance. So I wear many hats. So I haven't decided, but maybe I'll get that little assistant to help me and just, break them off. Okay, what's on the agenda for this week? Now, before I get to the meat of my subject, I want to talk about just a little bit about the NFL because, I don't be liking my podcast to go, say, over 30 minutes because I know you, the listeners, are going to get bored and distracted and you're going to go on to something else. But the NFL, I kind of feel they've just played themselves this week. Now, I want to just say this a little bit for our people. And by our people, people of color, but also Africans and African Americans. You know what? We are not right. And I say that because Colin Kaepernick sacrificed for us, people of color, who are suffering at the hands of the injustices of the police and everything that's going on in society. And we are not really supporting him like we should be. I mean, you know what? We can shut this shit down with the NFL if we really wanted to. All we have to do, don't buy tickets, don't tune in, patronize, start a campaign to go after their sponsors. And these old bigoted white racist men, and I'm sure it's a woman in there somewhere, will have a change of mind. I mean, this president operates from a fascist mentality. And remember, this all started with him. So I'm just saying, you know what? While we're around here talking about mute R. Kelly and all this other stuff, we need to be dealing with this shish first. All right. So that's my little comment on that because I'm not liking this at all. So now our freedom is under attack. So in addition to we can't barbecue, can't be out shopping, can't be at a restaurant eating waffles, now just being black and having freedom is under assault. We need to think about that, okay? We need to rally behind this brother, behind what's going on, and shut it down with our finances. We can make a difference. All right, so having said all that and moving on, I want to get to what I really want to talk about. Now, it's kind of like two things. So I want to talk about that cooning dance that Taye Diggs keeps doing. And then I want to turn it back on us black women and the reason how they tie in together. Look, Taye Diggs is who he is. And I guess I decided to talk about him specifically this week because I have spoken about this in the past about how we hate ourselves, the self-hate in our community that we need to get rid of. But before we can get rid of it, we need to identify. So you can't heal what you're not willing to confront. And the other part of that is that, you know what, sisters, we have options. We need to stop acting like we don't have options. You telling me some man is not trying to get with you somewhere. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. So, after seeing, again, too many articles about Taye Diggs, how he can't get a date with white women, he's not comfortable with that, is because of us once again blaming the black women for your inadequacies, your failures, whatever is going on with your state of mind, dude. So I decided to be open-minded and I wanted to listen to what Taye Diggs really had to say. And to tell you, y'all, you know what? Honestly, I can only listen to like 5-6 minutes of the bullshit, okay? I'm trying not to use the expletive, but excuse me if I do, because I am so sick and tired of his black ass. Now, I did go on the Red Pill on YouTube, and I listened to Van Lathan's, shout out to Van, the Red Pill podcast, which I think is really cool. Now, I like listening to Van. When I have time, I like to sit there and listen to his guests, who he's talking about, his style and his format. But this particular guest, I could not take more than 5 minutes of it. So, Taye Diggs' complaint is that for the 5 minutes I listened to it, because remember, I can't stand too much of his BS. I mean, this has been going on for a while, and I'm at it with. I'm just at the end of it. My patience is literally out the door with this dude. So he talks about, him not being able to get with a white woman, and we've heard this before, yada, 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 blah, 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 because of the backlash from black women. Dude, let me say it again. You can date who the hell you want. Why don't you just address the real issue that's going on with you? Your self-hatred. You hate yourself and everything that looks like you. Don't blame it on us. Blame yourself. And I'm trying to figure out, how can you have so much self-hate? What about your mama, your sisters, or your aunts, cousins, and things like that? Yeah, I am just so sick and tired of us being the reason or the reasons for whatever they can't do in life in terms of that shea butter community. You want to throw it back on us. Really? Really? So you can't date no white woman because of us. Have you ever thought it might be your Mac? It might be that energy that you are giving off, that vibe, that negativity, that poison, that venomous stain that's erratic, that's just illuminating all around you, that dark negative cloud, that just volcano that just seems to follow you. Maybe that's what's turning them off. Maybe they're not for you. Maybe you need to go look somewhere else. It's not us. You can't be blaming us because you can't get a date with a white woman. How the hell is that our fault? I mean, somebody help me out here. How is that our fault? You know what? Taye Diggs needs some mental therapy. He needs Jesus, Buddha, somebody. He needs somebody because he's just totally out there. And so then he goes on to talk about, I did write the notes down. Can't see them. I'm not right in my eyesight. So he talked about how other high-profile black men who are married to white women are not experiencing the same thing. Guess what? Even if they do think like you do, you know what? Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth closed and not say anything and remove all doubt that you might be a fool. I do believe he mentioned Kanye West, but till date, I've not heard Kanye West say anything towards black women in terms of there being the reason for this or whatever, because we know Kanye has his own issues right now. So it probably would be best that he don't go down that road. But this dude is on Taye Diggs is on some serious crazy ass shish. But guess this is the thing though, it's not limited to the United States. And I'll tell you why. 2 years ago, I was in Cuba on vacation, study abroad / whatever you want to call it. I call it just having a good time, all right? And I met a young man who was traveling with our group. Now, he was from the United States as well, but that same mentality is there in terms of black women, the value, how they don't see us as anything, how they don't value us, how they think we're less than and they don't want to deal with us. So, and I'm not going to name any names or anything, but this one black man on our trip, we're sitting down at dinner in Havana one night, and he's talking to a group of black women, one white woman, and so he just decides, you know what, I want to have a kumbaya moment, keep it real, which was like the dumbest thing. So he says, you know what, I had a bad situation with my girlfriend, so I just don't date black women. First of all, where did that come from? We're just eating dinner. This is our second night in Havana, and then you want to spring this on us. So as we, decided to listen to him, we realized, okay, so you had one bad experience One bad experience. And it takes two people to mess up a relationship. So now you want to condemn the whole black race because of every black woman because of your one bad experience. And we were on the trip, this was like, 9 days? So, we got to hang out with the brother for 9 days. And I realized, you know what? This wasn't about that black woman. This is about your self-hatred. I mean, he was so quick to defend everything that was white. It's almost as if he had a mantra tattooed on his forehead that said, if it ain't white, it ain't right. And there was this one young, beautiful white lady on the cruise with us. Now, this was a diverse crowd, little group here. And she said that, she revealed to us that, she was not comfortable with him. He had been trying to hit on her, that she don't do hookups on vacations like that. And that she just didn't really know how to deal with the whole situation. I mean, he was on her like, I don't know what they say, like white on rice or something. Yeah, I guess that's the way you described it. I'm sorry. And then we had this other white lady she was a hot mess. She was the mayor of either Orinda or Lafayette, somewhere in one of those areas in Northern California. And she was like a piece of work. And one day we were sitting at breakfast and we just happened to talk about it, and he came over and sat down and he joined the conversation, and he was defending her actions. I mean, and we're like, are you serious? And then, there was another time when we were out at the club and everything, we saw some things, and it was just as if that, if you were a tourist, a black tourist, that you were not appealing, or there was this stigma or stain. I mean, you can just feel the vibe in the air, and it really was sickening. It was depressing, and it was just like, I'm here to have to enjoy myself, to learn about the culture, the good, the bad, the ins and outs, and just have a good time and haul it on back to the United States. But I'm saying that to say that this attitude, this self-hatred, is just not limited to the United States. All right, it's just not. My other point is that we as black women, you know what? We should be tired of hearing this same old song. We should be tired of talking about it. Really, this is my last time. I don't want to keep talking about something that we already know. And it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. So guess what? We got to drop the weakest link. And some of these men that look like us, that are our skin folk, seem to be the weakest link. We need to leave their asses behind. And we need to go where we're celebrated and not tolerated. We need to stop advertising ourselves as if we're on sale, because we're not. You know what? If you can't find love in a black man, open your mind. Go where there are men who appreciate us, who like us, who like our beautiful skin, who like what we bring to the table. Because if you have not been paying attention, we are getting our degrees. We are starting businesses. We are elevating up in ways as never before. And it has been written up multiple times in the news. So I don't want anybody who brings less to the table than I do. I'm just serious. I don't really care what your race is. You have nothing to offer. If you bring less than what I have, your credit is not right, you don't have your own place, you don't have your own cars, guess what? You probably need to go somewhere to whoever wants you, because I don't want you. And that should be the mindset that we take on, is what does this person, whatever race he is, bring to the table? Is he my equal? Is he on my level? Sisters, we have got to stop giving attention to this kind of mindset, to this kind of mentality, to these brothers who really, they may be professional and successful on one level, but on another level, they really ain't shit. And that's how I look at Taye Diggs. You know what? He really ain't shit. And we need to stop giving him a place, a platform, a thought, and move on. We just need to take the lead on this and move on. Let's get together. Let's uplift our sisters. Let's stop clowning each other, condemning one another, being overly critical of one another, and support one another, even if you don't agree. The goal is, let's be on one page for the good of the cause. Right now, some of our men don't find us attractive, don't find us appealing, don't find us beautiful. It don't even matter. I think it's anything that's associated with black, they don't want to have anything to do with it. But yet, when they get in trouble, they want us to stick our necks out for them. See, they're asking for something from us that they're not willing to give to us. That should be your first clue, all right? So I'm just saying, let us open our minds. Let us be about our business. Let us go where we are loved and accepted, adored and appreciated. If it's not within our race, oh well. Sometimes that's the way it is. You know what? We need to change our mind. I am not about to be loyal to anybody, to any organization, any person, anything that is not loyal to me. I'm not going to give love to someone who's not giving it to me. We need to reevaluate our values, our attitudes, and how we see things, and stop holding on to things and people that are not holding on to us. So, that is my rant for this week. I told you I don't like it to be long, but I want to get to the meat of the subject, and that was Taye Diggs and his type. We need to just let them go. All right? Imani St. James here for the St. James Project. Remember, you can find me every week, every Friday, SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook. I will also have it posted there, and on Twitter. And if you need to connect with me, don't forget to send me a message and let me know. Either you like my podcast or you don't. They're short, sweet, and to the point. And we're still working out the bugs and the kinks. But until next Friday, peace and love as always.